We begin today the Gemara on Daf Mem Zayin, right at the beginning of the Yomit. The Gemara brings what it said in the Mishnah. The Mishnah said a person makes a neder, kainem bayis or kainem beis cha. Again, kainem libeis cha shani nichnas. Right? He says that I will not go into your house. Satcha shani nichnas. So then, as long as he's the owner, he doesn't go in. But if he sold it or he passed away, so then he can go in there. But if he said, kainem bayizeh, I will not go into this house, so then he can't go into this house forever. It doesn't make a difference even if he sold it or he passed away. So in connection with this, the Gemara brings in Ibaya. Avimi asked a Shaila. Kainem lebayizeh sha'ata nichnas. What if a person makes a neder and says that you should be also to walk into this house? So he's not making the neder on himself. He's making this neder on his friend and saying, you should be also to walk into this house. So now, meis oishemach, right? The person that made the neder, the owner, passed away, or he sold it to someone else, machri la'acher. So now, what happens now? Yeah, he's asking someone else of walking into this house, but now he dies, or he sold it to someone else. Mahu, what happens now? Is this house still going to be asr for the other person to walk in? What's the question? Could a person asa something which currently is in his possession and it becomes asa now and also later when it leaves his possession? Or he can't asa something which leaves his possession. He could asa it now as long as it's in his possession, but if he passes away or he sells it, it's not his anymore, so then he can't asa it.
What if he made a neder that I can't go to somebody else's place? He's allowed to do that?
No, he made a neder, he can't walk into your house. Right now it's your house. He's made a neder, you may not walk into my house. But the question is, what happens when he passed away? Now, do I say that the neder still is in effect even after he passed away?
We have that in the Mishnah.
Well, the Gemara here brings right now a Mishnah. Toshema. So we had this Mishnah quoted before already. Ha'aymal of Noi. Person says to his son, Kainem shi'iyat neneli. I make a neder that you can't have a nar from me. Umeis, and this person passes away, Yirishenu. So because he already passed away, so now he could yarshin him, because the neder that the father made is only when he's alive. That's what we understand from the lashon of the neder that he meant, only as long as I'm alive. But if the father specified and said, B'chayav ubemaisai, that he's making the neder in his lifetime and even after I pass away, so then umeis lo yirishenu. If he passes away, then his son will not yarshin him. Now, when it says Lo Yirishenu, we learned this already before. The Gemara does not mean that he doesn't literally yarshin at all. He will yarshin because the father can't take away the Yerusha, which is Min HaTorah, but he won't be able to have enough from it. The son will have to give it away or sell it away to someone else. He himself will not be able to have enough from it. So what do we see here? Shma mina, that the father, this person has the power to asa something which is presently in his rishus, that even after he dies, it'll also be also for the son not to have enough from it. Shma mina, so this is a raya. Now the Mefarshim point out, even though over here in this case the father spelled out, he clearly said b'chayav u'b'maisai, and before we're talking about a person that didn't say necessarily this lashon b'chayav u'b'maisai. But the pshat over here is the Gemara's focus of this ibaya is not regarding the lashon. It doesn't really make a difference what lashon he used. Obviously, he's going to have to use a lashon that's clear that he intends it to be also even later. But the question of the Gemara was, even if he does use such a lashon, does he even have the power to do so? Does he have the power to ask something after it leaves his possession? And the Gemara says, yes, he does. But another point, the Mefarshim say on this Gemara here, I think the Bach over here says this, that doesn't mean that a person can say that this chayfetz that I own will be also to you after I sell it to someone else. If the neder, the isser of the neder took effect while you still own it, then that isser could continue and remain in effect even after you sell it to someone else. But if you say to someone, this item that I own now, when I sell it to someone else, then the isser should begin, you don't have the koyach to do that, because at that point it's not in your possession anymore.
And what's the story when it's mine and I sell it, and I made the neder before I sold it? What's the story over there?
He made the neder and it took effect. Once the neder takes effect, so then it remains in effect even later, even after it leaves your possession. You have the power to place that isser, like a person that's makter something, right? When you make a neder, it's similar to hektish. You makter something and the hektish stays in it forever. Once you make the neder and it takes effect, it remains in effect even after it leaves your possession. That's the chiddush here. It's a pretty clear Mishnah. It's interesting that Avimi asked this shaila. Okay, now the Gemara brings another Mishnah, and based on this, it asks another Shaila. This is all a continuation, based on what we just paskin, that you could make something asr, and it remains in effect later. So the Gemara now has another Shaila. So Tanan Hasam, we learned in the Mishnah, this is later here in the Masechta, Kainem Peiris Ha'elu Alai. Person says, Lashon, these peiris are asr to me. Kainem Hein Alpi. These peiris are asr on my mouth, or he uses a little bit of a different Lashon, Kainem Hein Lipi. It's asr to my mouth. So the Mishnah says, Asr bichilufeyen ubigiduleyen. The Isser is not going to be only on these peiris themselves, but even these peiris, if they were exchanged with other peiris, the person takes these peiris and he exchanges it with others, or he took the seeds of it and he planted it and it grew other peiris, the Isser of the neder that he made takes effect, and it also on the chilufim, the exchange, and also on what grows. That's the Mishnah. So now the question is, Rami Bachame asks, what if a person says that I'm asking these fruits not on himself, on someone else? So again, if it's his peiris, he has the power to ask them on someone else. But here the question is, Mahu bichilufeya. Does that mean that he also has the power to ask these peiris on someone else, that the neder should also take effect not only on those peiris itself, but also on the chilufim, on the exchange of those peiris? If that person exchanges these peiris with other peiris, will they be asr as well? That's the shaila here.
The Mishnah was only for himself.
Correct. The Mishnah was saying about himself. The shaila is, what's if he's asking on someone else? So this is all based on the ibaya before. After the Gemara resolved the previous ibaya, that you have the power to ask it on someone else even after it leaves your possession. So now the Gemara says, a similar shaila, a step further, could we say that when you ask a peiris for someone else, if he goes and exchanges it with other peiris, it'll still be asa to him? What's the shaila based on? So the Gemara explains, Mi amrinon, do I say, ga bedilei, by the person himself, when he's asking these peiris that he owns on himself, you have the power to aser the peiris of your friend on yourself. Peiris that you don't own, you have the power to aser them on yourself. Right? Even though they're not your peiris, but you have the power over yourself. So you could aser yourself anything. So therefore I also say, Adam so too, you can aser peiris that you own right now, and that neder will take effect not only for these peiris that you now own, but it will also include the exchange of those peiris that you don't yet own. In other words, the point that the Gemara is saying is that in order for you to have the power to aser something, it has to be at least one thing. Either that it's a neder about yourself, so you have the power to do isra on yourself, whatever you want, or at least there has to be something that you own. If you're asering on someone else, it has to be at least something that you own. So you have one of those advantages, one of those powers that you're able to make the neder. But however, when it comes to asering something on your friend, I don't have the power to go and aser my friend's fruits that he owns on him. It has nothing to do with me. Not it's my peiris, and not it's an isser on me. So too I would say, so too if I'm asering peiris that I now own on my friend, that's not going to include the peiris, the chilufim, that is, the exchange of these peiris, or the gedulim of these peiris. Why not? Because those peiris are not here ba'olam. So just like you can't aser his peiris on him, because there's no connection to you, so too, when you're asking peiris that you own now, it's only going to ask those peiris that you own. But the chilufim of those peiris that you have no connection to yet, that don't exist ba'olam, to ask them on your friend, that you don't have the power to do. So therefore, you can't compare it to the Mishnah where it said that when you're asking peiris on yourself, then the chilufim become aser as well. That's because you're asking it on yourself. But asering on your friend, you could only ask the peiris that you presently own, not the chilufim of those peiris. On himself, yeah, that's what it said in the Mishnah clearly, but not on your friend, because on your friend it would be similar to trying to aser his peiris on him. You're asering chilufim of the peiris that don't even exist ba'olam yet. That's one side of the ibaya. Or perhaps we should say, mishum de chilufin kegidulin dami. The point over here is that the exchange of fruits is similar to the growth of these fruits. Just like when you plant the fruits, so the gidulim is considered to be the same mitzias of these fruits itself. You took the seeds of these fruits and it grew. So the gidulim, the isser of the neder on these fruits, it remains in effect on the gidulim. So too chilufim is not considered to be something other than these peiros. If it's the exchange of these peiros, so it sort of came here as an exchange, as a result of the existence of these peiros. So just like by Gidulim we say that the power of your neder is that it takes effect on the fruit and also on the seeds that whatever grows from it, the same thing is also with the chilufim. And if that's the case, we consider the chilufim to be equivalent and equal mamish to the Gidulim, to this peiros itself that's growing. So then, just like you could answer that when you're answering these peiros on yourself, you could answer it when you're answering it on someone else. It's the Gidulim of these peiros. It's like part of these peiros. Some say that the svara that the Gemara is saying over here, that chilufin kigidulin, is not a svara min HaTorah, because it's very hard to understand how min HaTorah you should compare the growth of peiros to the exchange of peiros. The growth of peiros, you take the seeds of these peiros and it grows, so it's takem mamish these peiros that are growing, that you made aser. But when it comes to the chilufin, someone went and took these peiros and exchanged it with other peiros. It's not the same peiros. So some say that the Gemara means midrabanan, that it's a chumrah midrabanan, that your neder that you make should be chal on the gidulim, and then chacham machmir that it's also chal on the chilufim. So if it's chal on the chilufim, it's chal. If it's chal on the gidulim, it's chal on the chilufim also. But if we apply this chumrah to yourself, we should apply this chumrah also when it's somebody else. Okay, so the Gemara says, if so, the Gemara concludes over here this tzad of the Ibaya. There's no difference if regarding yourself or if you're making the peiros also for your friend. Amar Rav Acha bar Minyaimi, so Rav Acha bar Minyaimi says, Tashema, I'll bring you a raya. It says in the Braisa, a person says to his wife, Koinim shani nena lech, a neder that I may not give you any ano. So now he's obligated to feed her, there's all kinds of things he has to give her, and she can't get anything from him. So what happens? Loive, she borrows money from someone else, and the Balechayvim, the one that now she owes money, come to the husband, and the husband pays them back. So my time, Balechayvim Ephraim. How is it that these Balechayvim are allowed to go to the husband to get paid back? The question over here is, if the husband is paying back, it's like an exchange. She's supposed to get the money directly from her husband, but her husband can't give her that ano. So instead, what is she doing? She's taking money from someone else, which creates this shibud of paying him back, that now you must pay back. And who does that shibud fall upon? The husband. So essentially, she's like getting the money from this person, which is sort of an exchange of the husband that's going to pay him back. So that the Gemara right now considers to be an exchange of the money of her husband. She's not getting it directly from him, but she's only getting that money from this person sort of as an exchange of the husband that's himself giving it to her, because the husband's going to be the one paying back this person. So the Gemara explains, so why is it that the husband is the one that pays this balchayv? Lav isn't the reason, mishum de chilufin, lav ki gedulim dami, that we say that the exchange of this money that the husband's paying back is not compared to the growth of peiros, that the peiros themselves grow. And therefore I say that she has a neder not to have a no from the husband, but to get paid, this person that's giving her the money should get paid from the husband. It's indirect, and therefore she could borrow money from this person. So here I see that chilufin is not the money itself from the husband. Amarave, so Rav answers, you can't bring a rai from here. Why? Dilme lechatchila hu delay. Lechatchila, to go and exchange something which is usher for something else. Over there I say that the neder will take effect on even the other item that you exchanged. But vihi avad. But once you did it, it's done. In the simple words of the Gemara, it looks like the Gemara is trying to make a difference between lechatchila and b'diavad, but it's not really what the Gemara is saying. What the Gemara is saying is that over here, in this case, the money that she's taking from this person that she's borrowing from, it's not really considered to be an exchange of the husband's money, because the husband becomes obligated to pay this person that's giving her the money after the fact. She borrows from him, and only after she borrows from this person, now the husband has an obligation to pay that person back. So now after the fact that the husband has to pay him back, now you want to consider it to be that she got money which was an exchange of the husband. But the whole chiyuv of the husband to pay back this malva that's giving her the money comes only after she got the money already. So therefore when she's getting the money, it's not considered to be directly the exchange of the husband's money. So therefore there's no raya from here. So
there's no doubt by a mitzvah. He has a chiyuv of eating.
okay, that's a different question. When you get to the chiyuv, but even when he makes a neder, he's not gonna. We discussed that in the Gemara in Ksubis, right? We had the whole discussion if a husband is allowed to make such a neder, how he can make such a neder. Okay, that's a discussion. True, Chanami, it's a good question. We learned that in Ksubis. Okay, some take out the word ella over here. But ella, another Gemara brings another ayah. Usually it doesn't say in the Gemara ella toshema, but here the Gemara says ella toshema. I'll bring you another ayah. HaMekadesh ba'arla, a person is mekadesh isha with arla fruits, which are aser ba'achila and also ba'ana. Not allowed to have any ana from this. Saying in mekadeshes, so she's not mekadeshes. You're not allowed to have any ana from it. Machron, what happens if he went and sold these arla fruits, and now he has the exchange, money that he got for these arla fruits, the kiddush b'demeyan, and he was mekadesh isha with this money. Hareizu mekadeshes. So over here she will be mekadeshes. So what's the pshat in this? So the way that Ran understands this Gemara is that the Gemara is trying to prove from here that the one that is machlef, the one that exchanges the arla with money for him, for this person that exchanged it, this money is asa to him. For someone else, that money is actually mutter to use. It's only for the person himself that went and sold this arla fruits and got money for it. For him, that money is asa. So now he is really not allowed to use this money to be mekadesh this isha. But for her, when she gets the money, it's money for her. She got a shava peruta, she becomes mukadeshes. But the Ran says the problem is something else. At this point, the Gemara thought that the isha herself, that the husband acquired with this money, should also be considered an exchange from the arla. It's really an exchange of an exchange. Because he got the arla fruits, he sold the arla fruits and got money, and then for the money got himself a wife. So the wife is the exchange of the money, which is the exchange of the arla fruits. So at this point, the Gemara is thinking that if you're going to tell me that the exchange of fruits that you have for a neder is like the fruits itself, and therefore it becomes aser, I should say the same thing regarding the exchange of the arla fruits, which is aser. And therefore the question is, how could it be mekadesher? She becomes his wife, but now he's not allowed to have anah from this wife, which is the exchange of the arla fruits. That's the pshat of the Ran and the Gemara. The Rosh, however, learns a different pshat. The Rosh says that the problem is with the money itself, because the money is the exchange of the arla. And the Rosh says, it comes out according to the Rosh, it doesn't spell it out clearly, but even though for the Isha, it's allowed to have anah from this money, because it's only also for the Ish, that's Mekadesh, he's the one that sold these arla fruits, and for her the money is mutter. But when you Mekadesh Isha, it has to be a shava peruta, not only for the Isha that's receiving the money, but it also has to be a shava peruta for the Ish that's giving the money. So therefore for you, you're giving this money, so it's chilufin of the arla fruits, and for you, it has no value. And therefore the question is, how can it be Mekadesh with this? That's the way the Rosh learns the Gemara. Okay, so the Gemara here answers, according to the Ran's Pshat, we'll learn according to the Ran's Pshat. Hachanami, over here as well, Lachatchile hu deloi. Lachatchile, you're not allowed to use the exchange of any fruits that are aser. That's by a neder, that would be by arla as well. But vi ovad. Once it's done, it's done. So again over here, according to the Ran, the Pshat and the Gemara's answer, the Gemara is not making a distinction between lachatchila and b'di'evet. Rather what the Gemara means to say is, over here, this is after the fact when you took this money, which is an exchange, and you did something else with it. Avad means you went and made a further exchange. So now we're talking about an exchange of an exchange. Even if you're going to say that the exchange of the arla fruits or the exchange of neder fruits are going to be aser, but the exchange of the exchange, that's something which Chachamim did not aser. So therefore, it's not, you can't compare it to the case of what we're speaking about. That's the Ran's Pshat in the Gemara. According to the Rosh, this Pshat that I said before, the Pshat on the words of the Gemara, Lachatchilu hu deloi v'avad avad, is like it sounds like in the simple Pshat of the words of the Gemara. The Gemara is saying, maybe Lachatchila, you're not allowed to use the exchange. But b'di'evet, once he went and he was mekadesh Isha with these fruits, which is an exchange of the arla, even though for him he's not supposed to have anah, but she received the shava pruta and she's allowed to have anah, so b'di'evet the kedushin takes effect. That's the Rosh's Pshat in the Gemara. Okay, that's the same inyan.
Over here.